a very good afternoon to you as we welcome you on into the sports bar. It's Danger and Battaglia live from St. John Fisher University and day one of Buffalo Bills training camp. Thanks for listening at 95.7 FM, AM 950, the free-to-download Odyssey app, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, or even our stream, which is up and live right now on our YouTube channel at The Fan. Rochester, I'm Danger. That's Battaglia. For day one, I don't think we could ask for much better than this, Gino.
Perfect. The chimes going off here, the bells at St. John Fisher. Another perfect day weather-wise, and away we go. Our home away from home here, Danger. It is a joy to be here, and some things happening today at camp, certainly.
Absolutely. Day got started earlier today with the Sean McDermott press conference, which we're going to give you here shortly in case you missed it. You can hear everything that the coach had to say. And you know, that was followed up, of course, by today's morning practice. And it was a morning practice that James Cook did participate in.
Yeah, I think the storyline is who was out there and who wasn't out there, but topping the list, James Cook, full participant. So what he said back in minicamp and what was kind of sort of reported, or I think threatened would be too a strong word. That didn't happen today. He was out there, Danger, and I think what we've been saying all along, James Cook, he knows, go ball out this year. Everything will be just fine. Cook out there. Also, Joey Bosa was out there. That was one where, okay, we're going to get an update. You don't need Joey Bosa here in July. But to see him out there working today, and he wasn't just working off to the side. He was blowing a few guys up. So, again, it's very early on, but that was an encouraging sign.
Brandon Beane speaking to the media after practice. You heard that on One Bills Live earlier here on The Fan Rochester, and telling reporters about Cook, hey, look, the tune hasn't changed with Brandon Beane in terms of his desire to want to keep James Cook in Buffalo, but his tune also hasn't changed that it's got to make economic sense for the team, not just this year, but in years to come. So Cook being a professional, Cook being competitive, he is out there. He wants to be out there. He loves to play ball. It's fun to watch him out on the field participating with his teammates, even though he's got a sticky negotiation happening right now with his contract.
Yeah, we haven't really seen this situation. We had it with Jordan Poyer on the back end of his career, and we always thought, all right, that maybe the Bills would just work this out, which they did. This feels a little different, but honestly, Danger, I don't think it's going to be a storyline much longer. We're just going to, oh, yeah, that's right. He's going to head to free agency after this year, and I don't expect the Bills to use a franchise tag or any move sort of like that. And I know Chris Trapasso is saying, hey, he expects him to be back here, Cook, next year. To me, I would be mildly surprised if there was a contract ironed out here before the start of the season.
It'd be one hell of a pitch from Brandon Beane if you're able to convince James Cook to take less money than what he feels he could make on the open market and stay in Buffalo. And like I said yesterday, and I think today, we saw by his actions what his intentions are. And James Cook right now, his best course of action, if he wants to hit the free agent market and make the most money that he can make, go out, practice, be a great teammate, and have an unbelievable season. If his desire was to stay in Buffalo long term, then I think you do the hold in at practice where you sit during practice and you make the team known, like, I want to be here, I want to stay here, let's work this out. We saw that happen just a couple of seasons ago for one day with Jordan Poyer when his agent was here working with Brandon Beane trying to get a deal done.
Yeah, and it's not to say that maybe that was discussed, and he decided, I still want to be out there. Who's to say? James Cook is normally just kind of I don't want to say shy, but just more reserved when it comes to talking to reporters. And maybe at some point we'll hear from James Cook. We did get the chance here. We got a loaded show here.
That's right. We have
a guy with a new number today. Like, who is that?
Yeah, Terrell Bernard. Didn't even recognize him out there with number 8 playing middle linebacker for the Buffalo Bills on defense. He'll be stopping by the sports bar here in about 20 minutes or so. Boy, practice today, just an unbelievable setting. Great to see the guys back on the field. Nice to see fans back in the stands here at St. John Fisher University. And, of course, Terrell Bernard, one of those players out on the field who probably still has a bad taste in their mouth based on how last season ended. So we'll dive into his mind a little bit, talk about his game. Terrell Bernard, Buffalo Bills linebacker, stopping by the sports bar right around 3:25.
Yeah, we will also catch up with, we lovingly call him the Icon. That was John Murphy that tagged him that, by the way.
No kidding.
Yeah, John Murphy called him Rochester Sports Icon, but when You're talking about longevity in Rochester. 38 camps now for Mike Catalana.
Wow.
We have to talk to Mike Catalana, and that has kind of become our tradition here. He's gracious with his time. We'll get his thoughts on the 2025 version of the Buffalo Bills here, what has to happen. Mike Catalana, Buffalo Plus 13 Wham, who'll be stopping by in the 4 o'clock hour.
Also joining us this afternoon for a few good minutes, about an hour from now, we'll talk to one of the sponsors here at Buffalo Bills training camp. That would be Greg Connors of Connors and Ferris.
Who, gosh, I can't say this wouldn't be here, without him, but certainly his sponsorship, his firm, helping to make it go. But he's got football takes, though. That's the fun thing when you talk to Greg. It's like he's got some opinions here.
He's got opinions. Yeah. He's got access to certain things that we might not have access to. As we'll share some stories and some thoughts. We'll talk about this upcoming season with Greg Connors here in a little bit.
Yeah, the one thing I want to try to follow up here. There was the report that in the DNC that said they're actually negotiating something long-term. Like, whoa, that hasn't happened since Dr. Bain was president here at St. John Fisher. Literally, it was Bain and Russ Brandon 5-year. It's been year by year, and we've been fine with that. But now with this report that, wait a second, the Bills are actually talking multi-year. I'm wondering if Greg is involved in this anyway as the title sponsor. We'll ask him what he knows about the future of training camp here at St. John Fisher.
All right, so there you go. The table is set as far as practice today. Let us kind of paint a picture, set a scene for you here, because it was good to see some players back on the field that we maybe didn't get a chance to see this spring, this early summer. Players like Joey Bosa, who you mentioned was out on the field today. We got to see him for the first time on a practice field as a Buffalo Bill. Had a nice practice. The rookie, Max Hairston, primarily playing with the second-team unit, with Trey White playing opposite Christian Benford with the first team. However, Hairston making the most out of his opportunities throughout the course of today's practice, making plays. Towards the end of the practice, you saw him break up a pass that was intended from Trubisky to KJ Hamler, and you got to really see that speed, that close-in ability that he has. And just break up a pass. And also nice to see one of the first guys there to congratulate him after making that play, none other than Trey White. So you see the leadership, you see the energy, and you see the talent that both men are displaying here as White back with the Buffalo Bills, back at St. John Fisher University, a very familiar setting for him as we've seen through the majority of his career. So seeing Hairston make a play was nice. Seeing the secondary step up, Taylor Rapp, doing a good job jumping around against a Josh Allen pass in practice today as well. And as far as participation goes, we talk about James Cook. We talk about Joey Bosa being out there. We did have 4 players from the Buffalo Bills that were not on the field for today's practice.
Yeah, so Dawson Knox and Spencer Brown, those are your headliners. And we also learned yesterday that Cedric Van Pran Granger went on PUP. Laviska Shenault not available today, he being the 4th guy. But back to Knox and back to Brown. Now, Dawson Knox placed on NFI. Now, this is where we go, okay, what are the abbreviations for? This is where we're reminded that's non-football injury. Well, how does that mean? He's working out. Well, if it happens away from the football facility, this is just a list they would put you on. So it's a soft tissue sort of thing. And for Dawson Knox, he doesn't need to learn the offense. He's been around. Make sure that he's right. That doesn't sound dangerous. At least my read on it is a concern. I can't say the same thing with Spencer Brown. Now, the way Sean McDermott described it, he called it a flare-up today with the back. Now, going back 2 years, that was an issue for Spencer Brown. Last year, no problems, all 17 games. It was just a monster and has proven to be one of the best right tackles in the game today. But anytime you have a back injury in an offensive lineman and, well, are they being cautious or could this be something more? With all 4 of these guys, McDermott refusing to put a timetable on it, and that's fine. It's day number 1 here.
And it's a lower leg tightness for Laviska Shenault, so it doesn't seem like it's anything too concerning. So all 4 of these players that have missed, I don't think there are any red flags going up by the Buffalo Bills in terms of any sort of long-term absence from any of these guys. So we'll kind of keep monitoring the status of Knox, of Spencer Brown, of Van Pran Granger, and also of Laviska Shenault, who all were not on the practice field today for the Buffalo Bills. Tomorrow, they're back on the field. 9:45 for tomorrow's practice. We'll hear tomorrow from Joe Brady, who meets with the media before practice. And I think the headline for tomorrow's practice is really the weather. How hot are we talking about at 9:45? I don't know that we've seen Sean McDermott move up practice because of heat. I think we have seen them kind of alter their times due to storms or pending rain in the area. But I think rain is one thing. Lightning and storms is another thing. You have fan safety and player safety to be concerned with. But heat tomorrow, will that be a factor? I imagine that things just go the way that they go, and you got to practice in the heat. And if it's 9:45, it'll be 9:45 for tomorrow morning in the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, they're calling for a high of 93 here in Pittsburgh tomorrow, which that's not ideal. No, that's not going to be the temperature in the morning, as you mentioned, but it's a good time to kind of reflect, Danger, on what this current regime did and where we came from and how far this camp has come from. Everybody misses the night practices, right? They were great. Well, why did they do them? Well, because they couldn't get anybody to come to the morning practices, essentially. And number two, hey, not just here, but pretty much everywhere. Chance of thunderstorms, greater in the afternoon. And let's get our work done in the morning. And you and I have been here in the McDermott regime where, hey, practice is fine in the morning, and by the time we get to our show in the afternoon. All right, look out here.
We've had our fair share of thunderstorms at Dodge here while we're at St. John Fisher for Bills Camp Live. So we will, of course, be here again tomorrow with more reports from day 2 of Buffalo Bills practice at St. John Fisher University. Before they got on the practice field this morning, the Buffalo Bills held a press conference with head coach Sean McDermott. And in case you missed that, we wanted to share that press conference, the opening press conference of training camp. Here's Bills head coach Sean McDermott earlier on the Fan Rochester. Dan, I'm going to need you to hit that. Thanks. Hey, Dan. As of right now, I can't fire anything from hotkeys. So you're in control of hotkeys. You're in control of the board. And I know that from your picture, you had some Sean McDermott audio for Gino's sports update, correct? All right, so just be on your toes. If Derek doesn't fix this, you might have to.
Give me one McDermott I should play here in the first update then. James Cook talked today.
Sean McDermott.
Oh, McDermott. Okay. Oh, shoot, because is it okay. Okay. Oh, here it is right here. Yep.
us on Sunday, they see us on game day. Now they get a chance to see that what we do on Sunday is exactly what we do Monday through Saturday. And I think that's the cool piece about it. The increased noise, if you will, is maybe in some ways good practice for us to really hone in and focus and get our focus where it needs to be. Yeah, something we'll have to manage. To your point, it's going to be, um, kind of a day-to-day deal, if you will, managing that because you're probably going to face some crossovers that come up along the way, particularly that position. It's one of the interior line positions, and so we're just gonna have to stay on top of it. If healthy enough, we'll be able to execute the plan that we have at the right time. If we're not healthy enough at the position, we'll have to adjust. So, I mean, I think the key here is we're going to have we're going to be challenged depth-wise early in the season because of that at this point alone. And we got to get our young guys ready to go. We got to get them settled in as quickly as possible.
So after the sports update, and when you play the rejoiner and the bumper music, just go right into Bernard. I think we'll be okay with that.
All right. We'll start.
Thanks, bud.
Thanks, Dan.
We're in a ton of them. They become a lot into that. Seeing things that we fully believe is an excellent base pass.
He's not into slogans.
Ding!
Ding.
With respect, it kind of gives them their direction, and with that, great clarity comes into what we're supposed to be doing. And I think that's really important to establish that don't stay absurd like we did maybe a little more, maybe a little less with our players. I think we feel about those things and how we approach them.
No.
It's
There you go, Sean McDermott from earlier today here at St. John Fisher University, his introductory press conference and the official start of Buffalo Bills training camp 2025.
Yeah, as we've got a lot coming up here on the show, and you got one of the captains on the team. I'm assuming he's going to be a captain again this year, Danger, the way Terrell Bernard carries himself, the way he came up with a big play there in a divisional win over Baltimore. He is what you want on the field and off the field, and it's our first conversation here with strangest day, number 8 of the Buffalo Bills.
Yes. Bills defensive captain from 2024, Terrell Bernard, stopping by the sports bar next on the Fan Rochester, live from Buffalo Bills training camp at St. John Fisher University.
We're in the final moments of the Burger Bowl, and Bill Grays is on the move again.
Gimme, Bill Grays!
Bill Grays has possession on the 20-yard line. It looks like they want to get the ball to the cheeseburger. At over a quarter pound, he's the perfect choice.
B19, G38, hut, hike.
The ball is snapped, and it's a handoff to the cheeseburger. There's just no stopping him. He's in the end zone. Another touchdown. Bill Grays really has the world's greatest cheeseburger. We're in the final moments of the Burger Bowl, and Bill Grays is on the move again.
Gimme, Bill Grays!
Bill Grays has possession on the 20-yard line. It looks like they want to get the ball to the cheeseburger. At over a quarter pound, he's the perfect choice.
B19, G38, hut, hike.
The ball is snapped, and it's a handoff to the cheeseburger. There's just no stopping him. He's in the end zone. Another touchdown. Bill Grays really has the world's greatest cheeseburger. We're in the final moments of the Burger Bowl, and Bill Grays is on the move again.
Gimme, Bill Grays!
Bill Grays has possession on the 20-yard line. It looks like they want to get the ball to the
Welcome to We the Hobby, the ultimate destination for sports card enthusiasts and fans around the world. We bring next-level sports card entertainment with premium products, live breaks you can watch in store, and a community that feels like family. Grab a drink, catch the game, rip packs, talk shop. Whether you're here to collect or just connect, there's something for everyone. This isn't your average card shop. This is We the Hobby. Come experience the excitement. Welcome to We the Hobby, the ultimate destination
Four players not practicing for the Buffalo Bills today. Dawson Knox on the non-football injury list with a hamstring. Spencer Brown on PUP with a back. Head coach Sean McDermott says it flared up. Cedric Granger and Lavistica Chenault also not participating. Running back James Cook, a full participant in today's session, which has the head coach smiling. Next practice here at Fisher coming up at 9:45 a.m. tomorrow. The 2024 AL Rookie of the Year, Luis Heel, starts on a rehab assignment tonight for visiting Scranton. They're in Rochester to face the Red Wings. We are live from Buffalo Bills training camp at St. John Fisher University. Gene Battaglin, the sports leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950, The Fan, Rochester.
Welcome back into the Sports Bar. It's Danger and Battaglia, day one of Buffalo Bills training camp at St. John Fisher University, and fresh from the practice field. I didn't even recognize this guy because he's wearing a new number. From 43 to number 8, it is Bills defensive team captain 2024, Terrell Bernard, middle linebacker, joining us here in the Sports Bar. Terrell, good to have you on with us, bud.
Yes, sir. Good to be here. I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, wait, the new number, what's that all about?
Yeah, man, you know, I was number 2 in college. You know, it's just a single-digit number. I think it just looks better. You know, I love 43. I have some great memories of that, but you know, ready for another chapter, new chapter.
You know, you talk about college, you talk about Baylor. I'll always remember you in your Sugar Bowl MVP performance, your final game at Baylor. You slide to round 3 to the Bills, going back to earlier in your career when they selected you. What do you think that they saw in you and could have imagined being the defensive captain of this team on that day that they selected you in the 3rd round?
Yeah, I think coming out, you know, really just, you know, my mindset towards the game of football and even outside the field, you know, that's something that they preach here is just the culture and the guys that they want to bring in, and I try to be an example of that. And, you know, it really was a long journey, you know, thinking back to my first day here, first St. John Fisher experience to where I'm at right now. You know, it's been a fun journey. It's been a long journey, and I'm excited to continue to keep growing.
Yeah, Terrell, I remember when the Bills drafted. Oh, they got him. You know, we were familiar with you, but in kind of researching this, I mean, even today in the NFL.com, I don't know if you knew this or not, their draft grade on you was low. They projected you to be a backup or a special teamer and a late round pick. Was that something that is that a chip on your shoulder that you were carrying back then? Do you still carry that today, that people didn't believe in you coming into this league?
I try not to think of it like that. You know, I knew some of the knocks on me coming out, but you know, when I got to Buffalo, you know, I feel like the coaching staff, the support staff, everybody believed in me when I got here. So, you know, that's all that I was concerned about and worried about, and, you know, really just wanted to put my head down, go to work, and, you know, feel the energy and you know, the time and the effort that it was going to take to become successful here and to try to, you know, make my mark here. And, you know, that's the only thing that I was focused on. So I appreciate these guys for giving me the opportunity and the chance to be here, and it's been a great experience.
He's Buffalo Bills linebacker Terrell Bernard joining us in the Sports Bar. Danger and Battaglia live from St. John Fisher University. Congratulations on that new contract, by the way. That's a big off season. Your new deal now makes you the 5th highest paid inside linebacker. Does that affect expectations that you put on yourself? How do you handle this added weight going into an important season?
Yeah, you know, it's you know, it's funny because I don't really see it as an added weight. I think it's more so a commitment from the organization to myself and myself to the organization. You know, I wanted to be here as long as possible, and, you know, to have that same feeling be reciprocated from the front office and the guys that make those decisions, it just, you know, exemplifies who I want to be and what I want to do here. My family, I love it here. My family loves it here. So I'm excited to have the opportunity to be here for, you know, a longer period of time, and, you know, to hopefully bring a Super Bowl back to Buffalo.
Terrell, let's talk about the defense that we'd assume you were going to be the captain once again of this year, where, okay, next to you have Matt Milano, former All-Pro, But in that same position, Dorian Williams, who actually led the team in tackles last year, that's an interesting competition. How do you think that all kind of shakes out, the guy who's going to be playing next year?
Yeah, like you said, man, it's been Matt. He's been the guy for so long here. He's at a level that I haven't seen him at. Honestly, he's been above and beyond, just from OTAs leading up into training camp now. I see how intentional, how focused he is, and how excited he is to get back on the field and do what he does. And then the same thing with Dorian. Like you said, he led the team in tackles last year. A guy that flies around and makes plays and does everything the right way. And so I'm excited to play with both of those guys. We're going to have situations and sets where we're all on the field together, and it's fun just being able to grow with those guys and learn with them, and take that next step. It's going to be a fun camp.
Your responsibility specifically in this defense, knowing your assignment. How far does it go when you have to know everybody around you? I mean, you're the quarterback of the defense, and knowing everybody's assignment around you.
Yeah, it's a big responsibility, and that's what the middle linebacker's job entails. And so that's what, I go into every day, understanding my job, my role, what I'm supposed to be doing, what I have to know, and trying to put my guys in the best position possible as well as myself. And that's a responsibility that I take, full on and accept and look forward to, honestly, every day. It's something that, really drives me when I'm studying, when I'm getting prepared for, a game week, when I'm getting prepared for day 2 of St. John Fisher. It's something that I have in the back of my head at all times. So it's a motivating factor for me.
Terrell, one thing that is new this year, you've got the Hard Knocks show following you around. Now, it's only day 1, right? But have you noticed it yet? Is it bothersome noticing that cameras are around watching everybody?
I wouldn't say it's bothersome. We kind of talked about how we want to approach it, and I think the main message was we want to show, people why we're a successful team and a successful organization. So you get, the Monday through Saturday look, not just, the product you see on Sunday. You get to see, the day in, day out grind and process, and, the team really build its culture while we're here at St. John Fisher and training camp. So I think it's a cool opportunity to kind of, get a peek behind the curtain and see what really goes into everything.
One of the things we remember hearing Sean McDermott say when he first became head coach of the Buffalo Bills, before you even got here, one of his mantras was always defend our dirt. We're going to defend our dirt, right? Buffalo coming off their first perfect home slate since 1990. It's the last year at Highmark Stadium before you move into the new Palace across the street. Fans are going to be awful nostalgic throughout the course of this season. The red helmets we heard about yesterday. Is there anything as a player that makes you think differently about this season at home, knowing it's the last season at the old stadium?
Yeah, I think just the legacy and the history that the stadium's seen, that the fans have seen in that stadium. It's something that is in our minds. Honestly, just the legacy and the guys that you followed up, and you try to represent the organization in the right way, and to send it off into the new stadium this year is going to be an amazing experience. I know the fans, they're always crazy. They're going to be even crazier. So it's going to be a fun year.
I like your hat. Take it away. Last year came up, Terrell, the big takeaway there in the divisional game against Baltimore. What goes into that? Is it a lot of film work? Is it just knowing your assignments? Because everybody wants to take the ball away, but it's so vital to this defense.
Yeah, I think it's in our DNA. It's who we are. It's something that we talk about every day, something that we preach and believe in, and, we rep it. And, you see the stuff that we're doing here at training camp is just repping, taking it away, punching the ball out, going after the ball when it's in the air. So everything that we do is revolved around taking the ball away, and that's kind of who we've been the last few years. Our identity is a defense that is going to go after the quarterback, stop the run, and then ultimately take the ball away and make the offense make mistakes. And that's how we feel like we're going to be successful and we're going to win games. And then when you got 17 on the other side, it's a little bit easier to get the ball back to him and watch him go to work.
So safe to say one of the goals that Sean McDermott might have for you this year is to lead the league in takeaways?
Yeah, that's the goal every year. That's the goal every year. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're talking to Terrell Bernard. Last year ending disappointment. Loaded question, but what do you think it's going to take to get to the level that I think you guys will be at someday?
Yeah, I think it starts now. It's easy to look all the way to the end, but we had our first meetings yesterday or last night, and the mindset of the team is take it one day at a time, and do what we need to do to put ourselves in position to be successful. And we feel like the process that we have in place right now, as long as we do that to the 10th degree and do whatever we need to do to get to that place, we'll live with the result, and whatever comes from that is what happens. So
taking it one day at a time is great, and I think all of us want to take our lives one day at a time, but you also have to have goals for the upcoming season. Obviously, we talk about leading the league in turnovers. That feels like an easy one, and takeaways. How does Coach lay out those goals for the team for the upcoming season? Does he do it in a team setting like that? Does he do it by individual positions? Does he do it by individuals, knowing that you as an individual might have a goal to be all pro at your position? How does that all work out? How does he lay it out for you?
Yeah, I think the individual stuff, he lets you handle that. So everybody has their own personal goals that they want to achieve and they want to reach. But then we talked about yesterday, our team goal obviously is to win the Super Bowl, but it's easy for everybody to say that. All 32 teams are saying they want to win the Super Bowl, but for us, it's the process in which we're going to get to that point. So we all have the shared common goal of the end result being, Super Bowl champions, but we have to make sure our process is correct and we're all on the same page leading up to that, which will lead to the result. So I think that's how we go about it. That's how I'm wired. That's how, most of the people in this organization are wired. So that's our mindset, going into every single day.
Terrell, just to learn a little bit about the man off the field, I was reading that during the pandemic years to kill time, you took up painting.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Ross, did you stick with it?
I haven't painted in a while, but yeah, that was something outside of my comfort zone that I really never did before. It was funny. I ended up watching. I think it was a Netflix documentary on Bob Ross. I didn't really know. I mean, I knew who he was, but I didn't know
Oh, he got screwed.
Yeah,
he didn't do that, but you got into it. Then.
Yeah, I got into it. Ordered some stuff, so I had some free time when I was at home during COVID, and taught myself kind of how to paint just by watching that and watching videos and stuff. So it's a hobby now that I enjoy.
I wouldn't suggest going to Coach or Babich and saying after a play that doesn't go your way, that wasn't really a mistake. It was a happy accident. It was a happy accident, Coach. Really apologize for that. I wouldn't suggest that. I don't know that they would take that too well.
I don't think that would fly here.
Quick question. I'm so curious about the physical impact that you guys put yourselves through, day in, day out, week in, week out. Is there one player specifically you think, man, I tackled that guy, but that was not an easy person to bring down? It doesn't have to be in the pros. It could have been when you were playing youth football. I mean, do you remember a guy that was like the hardest guy that you had to bring down?
Yeah, man. Actually, he's in the league right now. I played him in Little League. His name was Walker Little. He's an offensive tackle. He was playing running back in Little League. He was like 6'4", like 240 pounds when we were like 10 years old. And I remember like, man, if this is how it's going to be, I don't know if I'm going to make it. Comes to find out, he ends up being a D1 offensive tackle, gets drafted into the league, and I said, okay, I'm not going to have to tackle many guys like that.
Yeah. Well, Terrell, best of luck to you this year. Really appreciate your time today, and good luck this season.
And we're going to stick to your mantra. Take it away, buddy.
Yes,
I like
sir.
the hat.
Yes,
we
sir.
want to see it happen. Take it away, and best of luck. Stay healthy this season.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
how about let's win games, and then we can worry about changing the uniform. I mean, it feels like the Browns do this a lot, where every year there's a different alternate helmet, a different alternate uniform, and it's geared to get the fan base excited for the upcoming season. And the reality is, I think all fans really want is to say, we got a winner. We got a team that wins more than 3 or 4 games on any given in any given season. So, tough look for the Browns. And their Alpha Dog helmets, sponsored by Dude Wipes. Not really the reception I think they were looking for.
You know, RIT once had brown and orange in their colors, and they just kind of shied away from that. And
black.
Black. Now it's black and orange. Like, you can change.
Yeah, I don't
You
know that they
like-
can go black and orange, though, because you're in the same division as the Bengals, and we know about that rivalry that's existed.
I'm suggesting something totally different. You are allowed to change. I thought the Guardians totally botched it, Danger. We're like, okay, let's reinvent ourselves, think of something new and cool.
No,
and
they look like the old Indians.
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
In fact, right down to the way the word actually sounds, and the logo, the colors, everything sounds the same.
Yeah. Just a couple of other notes from around the NFL as we talk about and point and laugh at the Cleveland Browns.